Oh, what's good, my man in society? It is your host with the most, Shadowloke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and are subscribed to the channel. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. I highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. Now, as you guys can see, it's nighttime, but I'm still at work, right? But I was having a conversation, right? Well, a debate with one of my subscribers, right? But before I get into it, understand that, because it seemed like the subscriber was getting kind of bothered or whatever. Understand that you shouldn't let what I'm saying bother you, for it is just merely my opinion. That is it. I'm not saying that I'm right and you're wrong. I'm not saying that I know more than you or I'm better than you. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm doing is giving my point of view, my opinion from my perspective. That's it. You know what I mean? I could potentially be wrong, but this is how I see it, right? This is what I believe. So never let my opinion ever bother you, because that's all it is, just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? We were having a conversation. He says I don't believe in the supernatural and, you know, all that. He said, if I believe in karma, and do I believe karma is real? And I said, yes. And he's like, well, if you don't believe in the overall supernatural, then how do you explain karma? And karma, at least to me, at least my opinion of karma, yes, I do believe in karma. I believe it's a real thing. But I believe that it's a psychological thing, not an overall spiritual force. You get what I'm saying? Karma, to me, is attached to your personality, right? The reason why karma tends to come back on people, or, you know, if you do something bad, it's going to come and bite you in the ass later on, is because negative behaviors, bad traits, you know, stuff like taking advantage of somebody, lying, conning, stealing, stuff that in the world is perceived as negative, right? It's seen as stuff that is bad, right? By society, right? Because a majority of society doesn't look to hurt others or take advantage of others or look to con others and stuff like that, right? There is a lot of bad people out there, but overall, when it comes to the overall population of, you know, the planet and how people see it, there's more good than bad. And I believe that man is naturally good, and you do have some bad apples in there, right? So therefore, that's why that's why these activities, if there was more bad people than good people, then how we perceive things, right? How things happen and we look at it, we wouldn't be seeing those things as bad things, right? Because a majority of people would have the same mind state, right? So all of these behaviors or things that people do wouldn't be seen as bad, right? Because we all think similar and stuff like that, right? But you see that it's not the case, right? We view it as negative because a majority of society views these things negatively, because there's more good than bad, right? So when somebody is an individual like this, right, who tends to pick on others, who tends to lie and stuff like that, right, and take advantage of those people that are around him, right, they could see this. People that engage in any kind of, you know, conversation with this individual or get to know this individual could see, you know, the kind of individual he is, right? They might not home in on it, or they might just let certain things slide, right? But overall, they have a pretty good idea about this individual. Like, for example, if you know somebody who's your homie, right, and he takes advantage of you guys' other friends, right? Like if you guys have a group of friends, right, and he takes advantage of all his friends, right, but you and him are cool, whatever, and that's your boy, you know, deep down inside you can't trust him because of how he takes advantage of others and all of that. So even though you guys are cool, you don't fully trust him. Or let's say something happened where something of yours is missing, you're gonna be looking at him, you know, whether people would admit it or not, right? They're gonna be like, well, this fool does, you know, kind of steal from everybody else. So, you know, people will now be like, I wonder if this was actually the one that took it, right? Even though that's your boy now, you know what I mean? Because of, you know, how he gets down, because of, you know, of his overall behavior, you know, like the things he does, you can't fully trust this individual or be, you know, so that's why, you know, behaviors like this stay attached to these individuals. And the ones who you know, display these behaviors are normally people that have big egos, right? They normally are sociopaths, narcissists, stuff like that, right? So their egos start inflating, right? They get comfortable, right? Because they're so used to manipulating people and taking advantage of people and getting away with it, right? That they feel untouchable, right? So that is the biggest mistakes, right? Because then they end up, slipping up, and it comes full circle, right? Because eventually the lies come out, because, like I said, people get tired of these individuals taking advantage of people, right? That they finally start speaking up, and now it comes crashing down, right? All the success they have had, or at least, the happy mood that they were in is now gonna, be erupted, right? Because people are not gonna defend or stick up for somebody who's a bad person, right? If this person's a bad person, I'm not gonna defend him, or I'm not gonna say, hey, leave that guy alone or whatever. Nah, fuck him. And you see why the world wouldn't defend somebody like that, right? So then people will consider that as karma, right? Like, yeah, that's what you get, homie, for taking advantage of people and everything like that. Now you left out of luck. You know what I mean? But that has nothing to do with a spiritual force. It has to do because of the guy's personality, because of how he is. You know what I mean? And the reason why, if you do good deeds, you're rewarded with good deeds yourself, right? Is because if somebody's a cool person, if this person's respectful, he's always looking to help out people, individuals notice that, and people like individuals like that. Like, man, this guy's cool as hell. And if anybody tries to pick on this person or harass this person, or if this person needs help, people are willing to help him. People are willing to be there for that individual because he's cool, and he's, a toda madre, he's a respectful individual. And that's why, they tend to gravitate more good things to them, right? While compared to somebody who's negative is going to gravitate more negative things to them, right? If I walk if there's a house, right, and the whole house is covered in broken glass, the chances of me cutting myself is high, right? Compare if I walk into a house that only has, one room, with broken glass, the chances of me cutting myself is slimmer, right? So the chances of you hanging around with bad people and bad shit happening is going to be a lot higher than you hanging around with good people and, that, do good things. And that's why, it's seen as, this overall spiritual force that you get good. Like, damn, all of a sudden, I stopped talking to these people and I started doing good, man. Like, oh, now I'm being blessed. But it's not a blessing. It's because of your over personality. People can see that, right? And that's why, because you're such a good person that you gravitate, those kind of, individuals as well, right? And why you tend to, be living stress-free and stuff like that, because you don't have no more of the negative people that keeps, you spiraling down this course. And that has nothing to do with a spiritual force. It has to do with overall your personality. And why people say what you give off, you will receive. Because it's true. Because if you're negative and people are going to see that, no one's going to want to fuck with you. Nobody's with it. And all you're going to receive is nothing but shit. You know what I mean? Now, that's why the saying goes, you can't do good things. You can't do a good deed expecting you shouldn't do a good deed expecting something in return, right? And then you see some people who do good deeds and they don't get nothing in return and they get mad and stuff like that, because they were expecting that. See, the thing is that not everyone's going to take notice to your personality, right? To your good deeds, or they're not going to care for it, right? Because we are all different, right? In how we view things, how we view individuals and stuff like that. That's why, some individuals, even though they, do good deeds, they don't get in return, because not everybody's the same. Not everybody sees it the same, right? And that's why you should be doing stuff because that is, what you want to do and how you want to carry yourself, right? And it will reward you because people are going to take notice, right? But not everybody. And that's why when people say, what goes around comes around, why karma takes so long to make its course, because more people have to see how this individual is scandalous, and the more and more bridges he starts burning, the narrow and narrow his path starts getting, right? Until he ends up getting boxed in and he has nowhere to go. But that's why it takes so long, right? Because he has to burn all those bridges. But it's eventually going to happen, because behaviors like that, if they carry on, what happens is it consumes the person. It ends up becoming him, right? It becomes who he is. He can't help but to now, scam people or lie to people because he got in away with it for so long that it just became who he is, right? And that's why karma takes, its full course around, right? Because that's when the personality fully, consumes him. And like I said, that's why I always say, you know, don't trip. If somebody's a bad person or a liar, it's only a matter of time before it all comes crashing down. Because like I said, they start burning more bridges and more, because people start catching on, right? Even let's say you're cool with this person. If you're cool with somebody who lies or somebody who tricks people or cons people, you know deep down inside you can't fully trust this person because of how he treats others and what he does and the type of scandalous shit he does, that you already know if some scandalous shit were to happen or whatever, he would probably be most likely the person you would suspect because of how he carries himself. Because at the end of the day, you can't trust somebody who takes advantage of others and does all this shicey, shady shit. Because like I said, they really can't, you know, create, you know, bonds with individuals. They just look to use whoever they can use for as long as they can use them until now they could, you know, now it's your turn. You know, that's why I always say, you know, compared to somebody who's a righteous individual, respectful and all that, you already know that you can trust this person and you know that this person wouldn't be doing these kind of scandalous, shady stuff, right? That's why cheaters always end up getting caught and everything, like I said, bro. You know, their egos inflate, so they start becoming more sloppy, and it's eventually they slip up. You know, because of the lying to his woman or his kids and his friends knowing about this. Like I said, it's only a matter of time, bro. Because people don't like people who display bad behaviors and take advantage of others, even though they could pretend like they don't care or there's nothing to them. Deep down inside, if the scenario was to crack off and now you're in the mix, you would suspect this individual. Because overall, behaviors like that, people like that, are not really good people to be having around. But overall, that's just my breakdown on karma. What do I think of it and why I think it's attached to more of your personality and it being a psychological thing than it being an overall spiritual thing. But what do you guys think? Leave your opinions in the comments. And Shadow, we out.